Alrighty, Bonelab. It's been a minute since we've done anything at all on the channel, but today I thought it could be fun to take a look at Bonelab after patch 4 and go through the entire game. And I figured, hey, you know what? I've actually never done a tier list for all of the levels in Bonelab. So I figured, why not do that? Let's get every single level, put them in a thing, and just rate all of them from 1 to 12. So the reason why it's 12 and not like 15 or whatever is because we're not going to count, obviously, the main menu or the main menu at the end of the game. We're not going to count the hub, obviously, or anything that involves the hub. That's not going to be counted in this tier list. It's also not going to be Big Anomaly B. The reason why I'm not including Big Anomaly B, even though it is a level, is because it's 2 seconds, and it may as well have just been a cutscene. I don't know why they decided to make it a level, because you literally walk less than 2 feet. Jimmy says, "Well done. Here you go," and then you just go to the next level. It's the dumbest thing. I don't know why it exists, but we're just going to not include those two and everything else. So let's go ahead and come through the 12 here. Number 12 is going to be the worst one, and I think you all probably already know what the worst one's going to be. Let me know in the comments below what your guess is, but let's go ahead and start with number 1, because number 1 best level that I like the most, I think, is a little bit of a tough one, but I've thought about it a bit, and I think Street Puncher might be my favorite level in Bonelab. I really like it. It's a fun little level. It's kind of mini-gamey, honestly. If it was a mini-game, I wouldn't include it on here, but it is technically part of the main story, which is kind of dumb. But it is fun to go through there, wipe out the enemies, and go through and try to beat it faster and faster and faster. I was able to do it through as a pacifist, even though the entire point is to kill things. I was able to find different shortcuts and stuff like that on it. There was a lot of fun stuff that I've done with Street Puncher, and I think some other people might agree that Street Puncher is probably the best Bonelab level. Now, number 2 on the list of the second best map or the second best level, I suppose I should say, that I liked in Bonelab was Descent, which is the first level in the game. The reason why I like this one so much is because I think it really does a good job of setting the tone for the rest of the game. Or at least setting the tone for what the rest of the game should have been. Because there's like 6 minigames in here, so really we basically only got like 6 levels. And Descent is one of the real levels, because it's not like a minigame like Street Puncher or Bridge Run or like Magma Gate or something like that. It's not like a minigame like those. It's literally just go through the level, there's bits of lore that you can find, kill some enemies. I think you face about almost every single type of enemy in that level, and I think, again, that's genius because it introduces you to everything. There's, you know, a couple of really dumb things in there, but there's dumb things in every level. I really like Descent. It sets the tone for the rest of the game, or at least sets the tone for what the rest of the game should have been. Now, number 3 is another one of those kind of mini-game kind of levels, and that is Bridge Run. Number 3, I like Bridge Run because, at least before patch 4, before they fucked up mantling, we'll get into that another time, but Bridge Run was a lot of fun. I've speed ran it. That's how much I liked the level. Honestly, it could have been number 1 or number 2 on this list because of how much I liked Bridge Run. The way that Bridge Run is set up, especially after they added the helicopter and all the enemies and stuff like that, there's so many different ways you can go about approaching this level, because if you fall, you can still catch yourself on like a second section and then climb your way back up. There's the helicopter you have to like avoid and worry about and stuff like that. There's shortcuts you can find and stuff like that. There's so much you can do, so many different ways you can play this level, that I think it's a lot of fun to replay it, because there's a lot of different ways to play it. But it's not number 1, but it is a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people don't like Bridge Run, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, number 4, I really like this one because you get to do a lot in this level, and that is Big Anomaly A. I believe this is like right before you get to the minigame thing. You're going through everything, and you're doing a bunch of stuff to just progress through the story. Again, it's kind of like Descent. It reminds me of Descent a little bit, but with more interesting stuff to do. You're fighting stuff, you're running through stuff. I think there's a couple of puzzles that aren't really much of a puzzle, really. But Big Anomaly A, I think it's good. It's I don't know, something about like going through the hallways and like shooting the enemies with a shotgun. Like, I don't know, something about it always made me feel powerful, and I liked that. Big Anomaly A is just a fun one, but it's not the best one. Especially since with Big Anomaly A, you can literally just run past everything. That's the kind of the problem with a lot of the levels in this game, is you can just run right through them. You don't have to worry about enemies. You don't have to worry about anything. You can literally just walk through most of these, and you don't have to worry about anything. But number 5 is Monogon Motorway. Now, it's kind of tough to decide where this should go on my list, honestly, because the go-karts in this game kind of make me sick a little bit, but I think I'm going to put it at number 5 because I love the map itself. The map itself is really cool. There's obviously room for like hide and seek and stuff like that. I've seen YouTubers do that with Fusion where they play hide and seek on Monogon Motorway. The track itself, I think, is a decent track. Honestly, it could have been better, of course, but it's whatever. I think a ramp or two would have been really nice on there. But it also introduces the go-karts and the go-kart type mechanics and stuff like that. I think it's cool. I like it. I think the map itself is just decent, and I think that's the reason why I'm going to put it at number 5. Number 6 on this list is Ascent. Now, Ascent is a tough one to place as well, because I originally had it at like number 7 or like number 8, and then I kept shuffling things around. 6, 7, and 8 are kind of all shuffled about because it was really hard to decide which should go where. But number 6 is Ascent, and the reason why I like Ascent more than some of these other ones is because it is the longest level, and that means you get to do more on the level. But it's not up higher on the list because it's after you've done all the minigame type stuff to unlock all the avatars, and they don't really do enough with that. I think Ascent would have been a lot better if they had introduced, like, hey, this part of this level is really good for this avatar. This part of the level is really good for this avatar. This part of the level is really good for this avatar. But instead, they just have it to where you have to use this avatar, you have to use this avatar, or... like, well, I say that you have to use this avatar because, like, there's the weird sewer tunnel thing with, like, you have to be the little cat, which is the worst avatar. So there's a couple of sections like that which are really annoying. I think if they had done something more interesting where, like, solving puzzles with the avatars you unlocked, I think that would have been a better way to do Ascent. Especially since there's a lot of sections where you can just easily skip them if you're the tall avatar. There's like 2 or 3 different sections in Ascent as well where you have to get connected to this weird floaty thing, like this weird anti-gravity field. That is really annoying. All the anti-gravity stuff in this game is really annoying. And this level does it like 2 or 3 times. You have to jump over a thing and use the anti-gravity field to make it across. And then there's another section where like you have to go up a bunch of stuff and then you have to ascend up that. It's just really annoying. There's a lot of stairs as well, which is also another annoying thing. I guess it's called Ascent for a reason, but there's too much annoying stuff in Ascent for me to put it up higher on the list. So I think it's about at an even point. It's also the second before last level, really. But number 7, we have Long Run. Now, Long Run, you would think, is the longest level. This one would be up higher on the list again as well, but there's a section, like, after you get through, like, the sewer part, you move the train around and stuff like that. I don't know what it is about that section of the level, but it is the most annoying part of the level for me, and I hate it. I don't know if it's because, like, it's easy to fall off the edge and then you have to go all the way back around or something like that. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just a little bit annoying to deal with that section, and that section alone makes this level really annoying. Another thing about Ascent, I know I'm going backwards now, but another thing about Ascent is, for patch 4, they ruined the train, and I'm mad about that too, so it could go even further down the list, but I kind of was trying to make this list based on what I remembered from previously before patch 4. But anyway, moving on to 8, we have Magma Gates. I don't really have much to say about Magma Gate other than it could have been way cooler. I think it would have been way more interesting if they had done something different with it. Maybe if they made it an arena versus just push them gently off the bridge. A lot of the enemies, when they land, they just insta-die anyway. Like, they approach the thing to destroy in the center, and then they just die before they even get close to it. Some of them fall from the sky, and they, for some reason, made it to where the skeletons fall from the sky, knowing full well they're the weakest enemy, and that they would shatter upon impact. I don't know why they did that. They did a lot of weird, dumb stuff with Magma Gate. They also added, like, a bunch of other areas, like on the left side and on the right side of the bridge, where there's, like, these jump pads and, like, this parkour area and stuff like that. But there's, like, no reason for that area to exist at all, because there's no reason for you to ever go over there. Same thing with the other side of the bridge. And basically anywhere other than the middle of the bridge, there's no reason to go on any of it. It's just there because why not? The fact that any of that area exists is kind of weird to me. It may as well just been an arena, a circular arena. They could have come from like 6 different sides or something like that. That would have been much more interesting. Give me something better. Let's talk about number 9, which is Pillar Climb. Pillar Climb, I used to kind of like this level. When the game first came out, I thought it was super interesting because it was like the last level before you go back into like normal levels, because it was like the mini game thing. You get the tall avatar and you go through it. The Knoll bird things used to change your avatars, and I thought that was kind of super interesting. I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I thought it was really interesting because you could just switch back. Like if it made you switch to like a light or like short or something like that, you could have just pulled on your thing and just switched avatars again anyway. Or at least that's how I remember it. But they kind of ruined it, and then especially after patch 4, they ruined mantling, so I hate it now. I don't like Pillar Climb that much, and also in my pacifist run, this level was almost impossible, and I spent like several hours on this one level, and it made me hate the level even more. So Pillar Climb, you're all the way at number 9. Honestly, you could probably be 10, but 10, it goes to Home. Home is basically the last level of the game. It's kind of cool. When I first played through it, I thought it was really cool and interesting because when I first played through the game, I didn't want to skip a bunch of stuff because I wanted to experience the game as it was. But every single time since the first time I ever played the game, I just skipped basically the entire level. Not necessarily by choice. It wasn't just like, oh, I could just not do that level. I did the level. I would just switch to the tall avatar and jump over the building and then skip literally the entire game. Or not the entire game, but the entire level. And then I'm at the end and I just jump up there and grab his finger or whatever, and that's the end of the game. It's too short. I think Home, if it's going to be the last one, should have been way shorter. Or they should have done something where being the tall avatar wouldn't have been usable to, you know, surpass a bunch of stuff. But number 11 is Mine Dive. Mine Dive is like second before last on this list because Mine Dive sucks. If you're prone to motion sickness, this level sucks. If you like to do a bunch of stuff like explore and move around and like actually do stuff, maybe actually face enemies, have like some kind of challenge, then this level fucking sucks. If you like anything about any of the previous levels at all in the entire game, this level you're not gonna like because all you do is sit in a cart. You can shoot the targets and stuff, and sure, that's your own like little fun goal of to like try to get a high score or whatever, but the fact that it was a main level, like a main story level or whatever, is really ridiculous. You don't do anything besides sit on a train and go through the level. That is it. It is annoying, and I don't play this level unless I absolutely have to. Same thing with number 12, which is the worst level in the entire game. I do not play it unless I absolutely have to, or something wacky happens or something, right? That is Moonbase. Moonbase is the worst level in Bonelab. I will take 0 responses to this. I will accept no for other answer other than Moonbase is the worst level for 100 different reasons. For one, it crashes a lot on Quest for some reason. I don't know why on Quest 2. I don't know if it does it anymore. I've only played it like once or twice since patch 4, and it didn't crash either time. But a lot of the times before patch 4, the game would crash whenever you got to this level. I don't really know why. It was the worst optimized level of the entire game. When the game first came out, I knew where to go because the map was there. A lot of people didn't know where to go though for some reason. They just skipped over the map, I guess. That was another reason why I hate it. The main reason why I hate it, though, is because it doesn't need to exist. You don't do anything on this level at all, and especially after they added the jump pads and everything like that, it's even weirder that it exists at all. It would have been more interesting if they had done something more puzzly, like some kind of parkour-related thing, utilizing the zero gravity. You could have done some cool parkour stuff, maybe done something where like you have to throw something into a certain loop or something because there's zero gravity, so trying to throw something at the right angle and at the right speed and everything like that is another challenge. They could have done a billion things to make this level better, but all they did is make it to walk from point A to walk to point B, press 2 buttons, the game is over. The level sucks. You don't do anything, and it should not exist at all. Take it out of the game or do something drastic with it. Change it completely, because the fact that you don't do anything in this level means it shouldn't exist at all. And on top of that, you don't even need that character at all for the rest of the game, except for one tiny little section. The fact that it exists at all is really ridiculous. I don't know why they did this. Zero gravity doesn't work in this game. I feel like that's the biggest thing here. They could have done something else. Like, it's a short avatar, so you have to navigate through like a maze, and there's like enemies in the maze or something. Again, a billion different things that they could have done with Moonbase, but I'll rant about that another time. I hope you guys enjoyed this list here. Let me know in the comments below what you agree with on this list. Do you think my number 1 should be number 5? Do you think my number 1 should be number 12 for some reason? Do you think Moonbase is the best level ever? Let me know in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those things like that because it greatly helps out the channel a ton. And remember, most importantly, to stay asleep.
You made it! Come here for a second. Not bad, kid. Your body log's ready for full function. We're gonna have fun with it. You know all of this? what the...
What the hell?